Hi, I'm Diane Brady, and this is Forbes Newsroom. And we are talking with Maria Gracia Santillana Linares. Maria, hi.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You are on the cool team here, I think, the digital assets team, crypto, NFTs, Metaverse. Let's start with crypto. It's been so volatile.
Yeah.
How's it this week? Give us a sense.
Definitely. I mean, the bear market is definitely within us. Prices have been fluctuating up and down, but it's interesting. You're seeing people who, really believe in the crypto space staying in the crypto space.
Are those the fans or the smart investors? Because, we really into can mean a lot of different things, right?
I would say both. I think you're seeing, investors who are there for the long run, we say bullish in the crypto side. Mm-hmm. So they really believe in the bull side. A lot of the people, whether they be, entrepreneurs, investors, researchers who are looking at this data on the day-to-day have said that, this is the best time to build things. This is the best time to start new companies, invest, and they really believe that, the market will upturn again. On the other side, you're also seeing a lot of people who, were in for a quick flip and just, wanted high returns exiting the market because the prices are so low. And so you're really seeing kind of, I think, a consolidation of like people who really believe in the space are going to stay here now and are going to stay here longer.
Well, it's interesting because I remember 1,800, currencies at one point. I'm sure there were many more, and you must get pitched on all of them. So give me some sense of what you're focused on and even how people are investing, because this is actually, it is something that we know companies are looking at very seriously. Yeah. I know you wrote recently about that. Tell us more about it.
You're seeing, I think, investments again. Bitcoin and Ethereum will always be the ones that I think are kind of driving the market because they're have been here for such a long time.
Is that
now.
Like a flight to quality kind of thing? Like
some people would say so, yeah. I would say that. Ethereum also is interesting now because it became such a kind of hot commodity. When it first came out, a lot of the NFT applications are based on Ethereum blockchain and thus use Ether to buy it. Now with their new update, they're considering a Swift just in their technology. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of the blockchains that were created to solve kind of like the problems of Ethereum, mainly gas fees and like very low or slow processing times. Uh-huh. Those problems are being addressed by this new update, and so it'll be interesting
Greener,
to see.
cleaner crypto.
Exactly. That's, opens up a whole treasure trove of what, but essentially they're moving to a proof of stake instead of proof of work mechanism. Proof of work is the more energy consumption one, proof of stake isn't. And so
proof of work and I've not heard those terms before.
Yes.
Proof of work and proof of stake.
Yeah,
okay.
It just explains how the codes are solved and so how the blocks are like verify the information that is in the blockchain. And so it'll be interesting to see how these other blockchains, Solana, Cardano, Avalanche, respond to that new it's called the Ethereum merge. Mm-hmm. That is currently scheduled for mid-September. The date is not exactly finalized yet by the Ethereum developers, but it'll be interesting to see now that Ethereum is making that big move to proof-of-stake mechanism, how are these other chains going to react to that? How are their prices going to be impacted?
What are analysts anticipating with this move in mid-September? Is there a general sort of buzz one way or the other as to the impact that'll have on prices?
I think from what I've seen, analysts are pretty, I would say, cautious of making anything. This merge has been scheduled or has been planned for a really long time, and the date keeps getting pushed back and back. And so everyone's a little bit cautious of making strong predictions right now. I will say that this is the first time that there's kind of like, they call them dress rehearsals, and so parts of the Ethereum blockchain are moving to proof of stake slowly by slowly. Mm-hmm. And the last one went off without a hitch, according to Ethereum developers. And so people have a little bit more trust on the September 15th, 16th, or 20th date, just based off that commentary. But we'll see. I think a lot of analysts are still cautious to say anything.
Well, let me switch a bit because I do think that, we often say them in the same sentence, but crypto and NFTs, very different markets, very different worlds. So the non-fungible tokens, NFTs, I know that's something you've covered a lot. Certainly there's a lot of companies. We could be seeing some new releases coming out this fall. What is happening in that space, especially with regard to investment?
Definitely. So it's interesting. I think as you've seen the NFT market mature, you've seen companies create ETFs and funds and indexes that actually are tracking these as investments more just so than as commodities. So what's interesting now is you're seeing, okay, again, bear market, prices go down. What happens to the investors in those collections, in those assets? Two main things. You're seeing NFT collectors really prices are going down, right? So the people, again, who are still investing and still creating are those who really believe in the technology. Is going to be part of that. Two, you're seeing kind of a shift towards what we call like blue chip NFT investments. So these big collections, predominantly the Bored Ape Yacht Club and CryptoPunks really, trust within that, build within that, and stay there. What is also interesting, however, is because, prices are going down, there's a little bit more of an importance now on the utility of NFTs. So, something that is very...
What is the utility? I mean, look, I don't want to be ignorant, but I do know that there's a certain, NFT, let's take for art. Yeah, you display it in the metaverse. Exactly. It's yours. It's pride. Utility is not a word I think of necessarily.
And that's exactly the point, right? Like, we think, first of all, NFTs is this association with art. NFTs are more than art. They're being used in a lot of different use cases. A big hot one right now is real estate. And so how can, different real estate lands, both in the metaverse and in the real world, and uses be used or through...
To establish ownership, is that...
Yeah, to establish ownership, to establish land registries. The Colombian government recently announced a partnership with Ripple, pretty prominent blockchain company, that they were going to put land titles in the blockchain. And so you're seeing, I think, that's where the utility comes in, right? It's not just an asset. The utility is not just I own this, but it's also perks. If we shift back into the art world and what we see on Twitter, the profile pictures, all of those things, it is what comes above and beyond the art. So is it access to a special Discord channel? Is it access to restaurants are doing this a lot too?
Yeah.
Access to social clubs. And so utility, I think right now is very associated with access, but it'll be interesting to see what new collectors and new creators really come up with as this kind of okay, yes, it's just an art piece. It's just a picture. It's just a photograph. It's just a JPEG. That's the main criticism.
But think about it as blockchain, that whole distributed ledger and
Exactly.
and establishing trust, which is important.
Exactly.
Anything you'd want to say about the metaverse? Because again, that's something, the definition's so broad, you can drive a truck through it, much like big data used to be. And what's happening there right now that people should be paying attention to?
Well, everyone's getting into the metaverse now. I think that's the big kind of headline coming out of that. What's interesting, however, is that the metaverse, I think, is right now very much associated with blockchain, but the metaverse can exist without the blockchain. If you look at the definition, it
Fortnite.
really just... Exactly. It just speaks about a different virtual world. And so you're actually seeing a lot of companies using metaverse initiatives as marketing campaigns. P&G and Carrefour at the beginning of the month partnered up and did a Clean Your Mr. Clean's Kitchen with a metaverse initiative, but that was just simply a website.
Yeah.
Which doesn't discount it from taking it a metaverse, right? It's still, you're going into a different world and you're creating different things and you're participating and acting as if that's your real world. It's just online. And so there's definitely a lot of investment going in right now. Meta, Apple, all these different companies are,
It's when they start
investing.
to make versions of us,
Exactly.
and it's like, that's not my body type. How dare you put that in the boardroom?
Well, there's dating companies now that are based completely metaverse dating. So it's very interesting to see where that is going to go. I think there's definitely a lot of...
Takes catfishing to a whole new level.
Yeah, it really does. And there's some people who want to meet and stay within the metaverse. Some people want to meet in person. But it's a surprising amount of people who wants to stay within that metaverse life and be like, you know what, I'm happy here. I'm comfortable with this digital life. I don't really want to meet anyone in person.
Sounds like remote work all over again. So there you go. Well, thank you very much, Maria, and more to come.
Of course.